What is so interesting is Kody, the first time around with first written offer, Kody, Meri, and I had completed the title work signatures like within a week. I sent in the checks to the title company so no one would balk about paying for the fees. And the contract was just about to expire. And Robyn pops up and says, "Oh, I'm not going to do it unless you guys sign this confidentiality agreement and this hold harmless," meaning that, Meri couldn't take any more action to get her money back.
Kody and Robyn Brown are being portrayed as deeply dishonest people. Their actions appear driven by money and self-interest, not fairness or truth. The story being pushed about a secret deal is misleading and meant to distract. The real goal seems to be turning Janelle and Meri against one another, so no one focuses on what Kody and Robyn are actually doing. This kind of blame shifting keeps attention away from their behavior and places it on the wrong people. The situation became clearer during the tell-all episode. Unfortunately, Suki did not challenge the claims being made. She did not appear to understand the details, nor did she push for answers. She failed to review paperwork, ask hard questions, or verify facts. Instead of investigating, she went along with a story that was already shaky. As a result, an entire episode was wasted reinforcing a false version of events, one that only increased tension between Meri and Janelle. The truth is that neither of them is the main problem. The real wrongdoing comes from Kody and Robyn. At the start of the episode, it becomes obvious that Robyn entered the situation very late, likely around March of 2025. At that point, she asked Meri and Janelle to sign a non-disclosure agreement. This document would protect Robyn from responsibility for any money owed, any profits from the sale, or any future legal claims. It would also silence Meri, preventing her from talking about how the deal unfolded, how the property was handled, and how she never received repayment for her home. The intent behind this request raises serious concerns. All parties, Janelle, Kody, and Meri, had already signed the required papers in January of 2025. They agreed to sell the property and accepted the buyer's offer. Robyn was the only one who refused to sign during that time. She delayed the transfer of ownership and would not approve how the funds would be divided until late February or early March. Because of this delay, Janelle feared the sale might fall through, especially since the buyer's agreement had an expiration date. While this was happening, Robyn was quietly blocking progress. Instead of admitting that she caused the delay or that she wanted legal protection, Robyn later presented a different story. She claimed she struggled because the land once represented a shared family dream. She spoke about unity, togetherness, and a future where everyone lived side by side. She described herself as the only person still holding on to that vision, while others had moved on. This explanation shifts blame and avoids accountability. Rather than acknowledging her refusal to sign documents or her attempt to shield herself from legal consequences, she framed herself as someone hurt by a family falling apart. By doing this, she positioned herself as a victim instead of someone who actively caused harm. That framing distracts from the real issue: financial manipulation and avoidance of responsibility. In this situation, she keeps reminding everyone that she sees herself as the one who was hurt when the family fell apart. She says she never joined the family with plans to be separate. According to her, togetherness always mattered most, and she is still deeply upset that everything collapsed. This way of speaking places her in the role of someone who was wronged. It is a method used to gain sympathy and avoid blame. She explains her actions by saying she had a strong emotional connection to Coyote Pass. That claim does not hold up. Her attachment was not based on feelings, but on money. She did not want Meri to receive what she was owed. She also did not want to prevent Meri from speaking openly about the land sale. On top of that, she did not want to return funds taken from the sale of Kody and Meri's Las Vegas house, money that helped pay for her own residence. What makes this worse is the timing. She talks about her supposed struggle with selling Coyote Pass after already moving into the Destiny House, a home worth about $2.1 million. That purchase was possible because money from the Vegas property was redirected. The house on Hash Knife Trail was paid for using funds that should not have gone solely to her. Kody and Meri owned the Vegas house together, meaning each had a legal right to half of the value. Instead, Kody took it all and handed it over to her. To cover this up, a new property was bought and placed into a trust. The down payment came from that same disputed money. By doing this, Meri's share was effectively erased from the paper trail. This creates a serious fairness issue. It looks like unjust gain, misuse of assets, and deception. Meri could still raise claims today because they continue to benefit from money that was never rightfully theirs alone. Janelle does not believe this emotional story at all. She feels the words sound rehearsed, like lines spoken because they are expected. It comes across as someone performing sadness rather than feeling it. Janelle thinks this image is being maintained to satisfy Kody. In her view, she has been placed into a part where she must appear gentle, loving, loyal, and wounded by the family's failure. This behavior works on two levels. It protects her image while hiding questionable actions. She may even act differently around Kody, only showing what helps her keep her position. If her full character was visible, the relationship might not survive. By presenting a softened version of herself, she gains security and control. At the same time, she presents herself to the public as the injured party, so no one looks too closely at her choices. Kody and Robyn appeared to move as one. The story they tell seems carefully built together. Kody likely does not truly believe the version she presents. It serves both of them. That is why the repeated talk about a secret side deal feels like a distraction. It pulls focus away from the real problem. Near the end of the episode, the truth finally surfaces. After almost 2 months of delay, Robyn brings out a detailed contract. It includes silence requirements, protection from responsibility, and a waiver of future legal action. A previously unseen clip shows Kody saying he had no duty to give Meri anything. He openly admits to using a loophole, suggesting intent. Janelle admits her lawyer advised pushing the sale forward, but the plan never fully happened. Even so, Meri now has every reason to distrust them. What was said to her face did not match what was done behind her back. That betrayal explains why everything broke down. One final point matters. Robyn avoided signing papers that would divide the land. Kody then appeared generous by suggesting an even split. Janelle and Meri agreed early in 2025. Once that was done, Robyn refused to move forward, even though the division had already been fair. This delay was not about justice, it was strategy. Meri was not the person slowing anything down. The delay came from Robyn, who refused to approve the land split. At the time the buyer made an offer, the deeds were still unchanged. Under those original records, Meri only owned 1/3 of a single parcel. That meant her share was much smaller than what had later been agreed upon. The so-called backdoor plan would have worked like this: throw away the new agreement that divided the land evenly and sell everything based on the old deeds. If that had happened, Meri would have received far less, only a small portion instead of the fair 25%. This situation existed only because Robyn would not sign the updated division. Robyn later claimed she was delaying things to protect Meri and make sure the outcome was fair. That explanation is not true. She even described herself as a barrier standing in the way. This is why Janelle became angry. If that discussion had turned into action, the sale would have moved forward using the outdated ownership setup, leaving Meri with almost nothing. The only reason this did not happen is because Meri had legal representation. Her attorneys would never have allowed such an outcome. When Robyn eventually brought forward a non-disclosure agreement, it was extreme. Any competent lawyer would immediately reject it. The document demanded silence, removed responsibility, and blocked future claims. Meri's legal team almost certainly shut it down right away. At that point, it no longer mattered who first suggested selling the land. The fact that these conversations even happened revealed a deeper problem. Janelle said she was supporting Meri, yet she was telling Kody different things in private. In the complicated structure of plural marriage, Janelle was still acting like a spouse who reports to the head of the household. Instead of fully stepping away and relying only on legal channels, she still believed Kody could be reasoned with. She seems to hope that logic or goodwill could change behavior that had already been shown many times. This created a deep betrayal for Meri. Even so, nothing was completed behind her back because she refused to bend. She stood firm and trusted her lawyers. That decision stopped the plan from moving forward. The real reason for the delay was Robyn's fear of exposure. She did not want anyone discussing how Meri had been financially harmed. She also could not repay the money that had been taken. When she finally appeared after weeks of silence, she brought a finished contract demanding confidentiality and legal protection. It felt like a show of control, not cooperation. During the entire process, Robyn barely spoke. Kody handled everything while she stayed out of sight. Then, at the last moment, she tried to force agreement through pressure. The buyer's offer expired. Kody pushed others to confront Meri, but Meri stayed within legal boundaries and refused direct talks. Janelle should have been just as upset as Meri, yet her situation was different. She had no legal claim because she had signed paperwork stating her contribution was a gift. Meri was the only one with real leverage. Robyn finally approved the split months later, and the sale closed afterward. Meri had already done her part long before. The anger toward her was never about delays. It was about her refusal to stay quiet. She protected herself, and that is why they are upset. They are angry because they failed to make her promise never to take legal action. They are upset because she would not agree to stay quiet forever or help hide what really happened. Meri pushed back by clearly suggesting that she had been forced to sign silence agreements before. That alone raises serious questions. Why were those documents used? What were they trying to hide? When people say Meri caused delays, she openly admits it. She stopped everything on purpose. She made it clear she would not be muted again. She refused to put her name on paperwork that demanded silence. That choice angered him deeply. Instead of accepting her boundary, he turned the blame toward her, claiming she ruined the process simply because she would not agree to keep quiet. Meri made one thing very clear: she will not be silenced again. She chose to pause the sale rather than surrender her voice. That decision matters. It also makes people wonder about the earlier agreement she hinted at. What was that older confidentiality deal about? Where did it come from? Who demanded it? What behavior did it protect? Public records do not show any mention of silence clauses tied to their divorce. The legal filings only cover separation terms. There is nothing stating that either party agreed to avoid speaking about events or finances. That makes the situation even stranger. If no official paperwork exists, then what exactly was she forced to sign before, and why? For years, Meri repeatedly said there was more happening behind the scenes. Viewers questioned her, doubted her, and dismissed her statements. She often defended people who seemed to be hurting her, which confused many watching. Now it makes more sense. If she was locked into an agreement that limited what she could share, her behavior fits that pattern. It explains the confusion, the deflection, and the silence. How often has this method been used to control the story? That is the real issue. When Robyn appeared at the very end with a confidentiality contract, it did not just protect her. Kody benefited just as much. This was not one person acting alone. Both of them gained from keeping Meri quiet. Robyn had no legal right to Meri's marital assets. She was never entitled to that money. Yet she still benefited from it. In a lawsuit, her responsibility could be even greater because she continues to profit from property that did not belong to her. Kody also played a role, but Robyn directly gained from those assets. That matters. The whole talk about a secret side plan feels like a distraction. It pulls attention away from the real problem, taking money that was not theirs and using silence agreements to avoid consequences. That is the core issue being covered up. Next, Robyn will likely claim she avoided Meri because Meri is unsafe or unstable. This has already started. Kody even suggested something extreme and ridiculous, implying Meri was dangerous. That pattern is familiar. They often paint her as irrational, aggressive, or unbalanced. That strategy helps discredit her and keeps the focus away from facts. In reality, Meri knows the truth. She is being punished for refusing to hide it. While Robyn plays the wounded role, Meri is pushed aside, blamed, and mislabeled. The fraud has not stopped. The benefits from it continue. That is why this matters.